Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Let's Chat Live, a show where we do a weekly live interview with different podcasts and the people behind the podcast that we want to connect you with and kind of get their name out there. I'm part of your host, Bree, producer of Let's Chat, and today we have the coolest person ever. Sorry, guys. John from the Dumb Found Dead podcast. I'm sure you've heard about it because they are all over Twitter, and they're funny, and they're amazing, and their puns. Oh my God. They're to die for.
Literally.
John, can you tell us a little bit more about your show?
Sure. Hello, everyone. If you haven't met me, I am John, one of the co-hosts of the Dumbfounded podcast, where two good brothers, we discuss some of the craziest and insane ways people die. That's so strange and borderline comical, it'll leave you dumbfounded. See, there's the pun already and just the title alone. But enough about me. It's not about me today. Today, we have the opportunity to sit down with Carlo from Thief's Monthly Movie Loot. Carlo always have the amazing fun with his recordings, and he produces a show about various and different films. So, should we bring him on?
Bring him on, Carlo.
Bring him on.
Hi, Carlo.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
How you doing?
We are good. So, where are you from? You said your profile said you're from Puerto Rico?
Yes, I'm from Puerto Rico.
In the same time zone as us. That's great. Well, as me.
Yes.
In Virginia.
Yes, Eastern time right now.
That worked out nicely.
How's the weather like in Puerto Rico right now?
It's pretty sunny. It's 80s, 90s. That's pretty much all year. That's the weather all year.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so nice.
And no, we don't have any changes, any big changes. We can go to the beach all year.
Ooh.
Wow.
I've been wanting to go to Puerto Rico for some time. I heard mofongo was really good.
Oh, everybody loves mofongo.
Oh, I gotta try that.
That's our dish.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
You gotta try it, definitely.
Yeah, me too. Is it a noodle dish?
No,
it's an iconic dish, and I think everybody that comes to Puerto Rico has to taste it at least once because it's delicious.
Oh my gosh, my best friend is Puerto Rican, and I don't think I've heard of this. She's always trying to make dos leches cakes and stuff. So I will have to call her out and be like,
"Oh no,
make this for me, please."
No, mofongo. The name says it's more fungo. You need to eat it to have fun.
Did you bring me on board when this guy is a pun master himself, Bree? Like, come on now.
We're in trouble.
I know we are.
Hi, Revel. This is like the guy that started it all, Chris Revel. He's the man.
Hey, Chris.
His daughter's birthday's today. I'm so happy for you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Felicity. So jumping in, like, do you have a background in podcasting, or what made you kind of think, oh, I want to start a podcast?
No, not at all. Not a background at all. But I've always been into films since I was a kid, and as I got older and I started getting into it more seriously, I've always enjoyed talking about them with my friends, with my family, with everybody. But for whatever reasons, I don't have people in real life with whom I can talk about film, at least to the level that I wish, because I dive deep into it. And at one point I said, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to talk about the films that I see, the films that I love, try to get people engaged in the conversations and recommend films that I see, recommend films that I think are worthy of seeing. So I decided to jump in. I had the idea for several years, I think, but never got the chance. And at one point I said, what the heck, let's just do it. And I started in January 2020.
Okay.
Wow. January. So that was after
like a year
COVID started? Is that, yeah.
No, before. It's the month before COVID
COVID
started, right?
Yeah, it was 2 months before COVID started.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
COVID didn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah, you just, that's nice.
A lot of people's reasons. So.
Yeah. I know a lot of podcasters that said, why did you start podcasting? I said, COVID, the pandemic happened. So I didn't have anything better to do. But no, I was already into it when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel like COVID has helped you with your show so you can get more content and more movie watching?
Well, not so much because I never stopped working. Fortunately, I had to work from home first, but then the company that I work for, we pretty much started working about a month after, and uh, really there hasn't been any much change with
Mhm.
COVID or without COVID. I'm still watching the same amount of films I think that I've watched before.
Good.
So the pandemic really didn't have an effect into podcasting per se.
Good. Do you stick to certain genres of movies or decades or
Well, the the way I set up my show, I call it Tiff's Monthly Movie Loot because every month I start with a list of criteria. I started doing this a couple of years ago because I wanted to motivate myself to watch more films, different films, diverse films. So every month I start with a set of random criteria. Let's say this month I'm going to watch a film from the 1930s. This month I'm going to watch a film from Sweden. This month I'm going to watch a film that was nominated for Best Picture or something like that,
yeah.
and that kind of leads me into what I will watch. It's I like it because it takes me out of my comfort zone. I don't. It makes me see films that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. Films that um, probably nobody knows. A lot of independent films, films from other countries,
Cool.
and I think that's the driving force behind it. And I try to take that to my show and share a diverse group of films that people can enjoy and can find, because what I watch, it's on Netflix or Hulu or Prime or whatever, so they are accessible to people.
Oh, that's nice. Because sometimes people are like, "Oh, you should watch this movie," and I'm like, "I don't know where to
Can't see
find
it. Yeah.
it.
Right.
Where?"
So, Carlo,
Yeah,
you.
and yeah, go ahead.
Oh, good. I was gonna say, you mentioned that you started your love for film like early in your childhood. Is there a specific movie or film that you saw that made you fall in love with film?
Well, Um, my first, this is going to be weird, but my first memory in a movie theater, I was 5 years old, and my mom, I have three older brothers, and my mom took us all four to see Jaws 3D. So
Oh.
um, it's weird because it's not specifically a children film, right? But
Oh my god.
she took us all to that film. I suppose because my mom always liked film, and I suppose she wanted to go to the movies and said, with four children, I can go to the movies. So what the heck, I'm gonna take them. Um, so I've always been into films, never too seriously at first, because you're a child, you're a teenager, you just watch films for fun. Um, but when I started in college, let's say 16, 17 years old, I really started getting into it more seriously. And in the 90s, there were a couple of films that really changed my mind, or changed how I see films. And one of those films is Pulp Fiction.
Right,
It's
classic.
one of my favorite films, and it's a film that
Kevin.
I saw it. Hey, Kevin.
He's from the Defining Disney.
Yeah, yeah.
Yay.
And oh, this is my friend Cocophone. Hey, how you doing?
Hello, West
And
Coast.
The best coast,
yeah, representing.
The East
And
Coast.
the least coast.
uh, so, Pulp Fiction is a film that when I saw it, I remember that there was a point in the film that I had to pause it and pace the room because I was so amazed by what was on screen.
Yeah.
Specifically, if you've seen the film, the Jules and Brett interaction. I don't know if you've seen Pulp Fiction, but that
Mhm.
scene, which occurs pretty early in the film, it really blew my mind. And another film that's it's actually my number two favorite film is Seven, David Fincher's Seven,
Okay,
and
Yeah,
I like
Brad Pitt,
that.
right?
that's
Yeah, I
no
feel
that
like you've talked about
Okay,
this before, John.
no that's a film that I saw with a bunch of friends. We rented it, and everybody, through all the last half hour, everybody was on the edge of their seats. And when that ending happened, and if you've seen the film, you know what happens. We were all like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this."
Yup.
And those are the kind of films that kind of change my mind of what you can do with film, because I think those films defied their genres, or took things to another level, as opposed to maybe what you were used to in 80s films, or there's always been challenging films, but so as mainstream as those, they really changed my mind and changed how I look at films, and I started getting into it more seriously, and try to branch myself and see whatever I can see.
Oh,
Okay.
that's so great. Do you have
So-
like a huge DVD collection?
Ooh.
Not so
Husband
much,
does.
actually. I have, I think, about 200, 100.
Not so much.
That's still a lot.
Oh,
1,000.
trust me, if you see the collection that a lot of people have, it's massive. I mean, I know people that have thousands and thousands of DVDs, and mine
Oh,
is
Lord.
meager compared to that.
Wow.
But I'm very selective with what I buy. I try to buy films that I know I will watch often. Uh, I I rarely blind buy a film. If I haven't seen the film, I rarely blind buy it. So I try to stick with films that I know I can see like 10 times, 100 times, and it wouldn't matter. I can always pop them in and have fun with them.
Wow.
Rewatchability. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that stops in my ranking of a film.
Awesome.
If I can only
So
watch
good.
it one time, I mean, there are films that you can watch them one time, and that's enough. But
Yeah.
the rewatchability is very, very important for me.
Especially like slow movies. Like the Chris McCandless story about the bus in
Into the Wild.
yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
so good, so intense. It was incredible,
Yes.
but like watching it another time's like, okay,
No,
we're
no,
good.
no. Yeah, but there are films that are so intense, and I don't know. For example, Wrecking for a Dream. I don't know if you've seen it.
Mhm.
Joaquin Phoenix was
That
awesome in that.
I
that's a
love
film
him.
I've saw once, and I don't think I have it actually. I had the DVD. I saw it with my wife a long time ago, and we loved it. But it's so powerful that we don't want to see it again. We bought the DVD afterwards, and I don't think we've put it. We've put it. I think it's still closed. It's still wrapped, because we can bring ourselves to watch it again.
It's draining getting so into like a movie and like mentally and physically, like you're on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, but film that's the beauty of film, because film is made to draw many emotions.
Mhm.
You can watch a film to have fun. You can watch a film to laugh. You can watch a film to learn. You can watch a film to be shocked, or be driven to do something. There are different goals to films, and many films fulfill different goals. So it depends on what you're in the mood for.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite genre that you like watching?
Uh, I usually lean more towards thrillers, kind
Yes,
of
me
like
too.
Seven.
Mhm.
That is probably my favorite genre, but I like to go all over the place and try to watch a bit of everything whenever I can.
I like independent films. And foreign films, I love watching things with subtitles and sometimes on silent, which, sounds crazy because the subtitles just kind of
Really?
bring it out. Yeah, I watch
Wow,
almost
okay.
all my movies on silent with subtitles
It's
because you have to
interesting.
like read it and it's like footsteps coming up the stairs, suspicious music, and it's like, oh my God.
I don't have an issue with subtitles, because I'm a native Spanish speaker, so I'm used to subtitles. Every time I watch a film, I always put subtitles or captions, so I don't have an issue with
Yeah.
that, which probably makes me feel more comfortable. I know that a lot of people, English speaking people, have issues with. I know I get distracted with the subtitles, but at least I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah. I like them.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes it's
Yeah.
like too quiet in certain spots and it just helps you get through the story plot when you can actually read and hear what's going on.
Do you have a favorite foreign film?
Man, I binge watch like thrillers and post-apocalyptic shows on Netflix, and the most terrifying movie that I have watched was Train to Busan.
Busan, yep.
Oh, that's a
Lord.
great one.
I
That's a
just
great film.
Love that.
It was intense. I loved every second of it. I was just on the edge of my seat. I had a pillow. I was hugging it. That
That's I every time I get a chance to recommend that film, I throw it out because it's great.
Yeah.
It's very intense, very edge of your seat, like you say. You gonna bite your nails off.
It'll keep you up at night for sure.
Excuse me.
It'll keep you up at night.
It'll keep you
No,
up at
no,
night.
definitely.
Yeah.
It's the kind of film that you're. I don't know
Right.
what's gonna happen. I was on top of the sofa, like.
And it just kept
It's great.
going.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Very, very. The fast zombie thing. That people. I can
I don't
deal
like
with that.
zombies.
I've read people say if the zombie apocalypse occur, please let them be the slow ones, not the fast ones,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
creepy as hell.
It's funny because I've seen a bunch of memes about that, like a zombie-proof way of surviving a zombie apocalypse. Just surround your house with a bunch of treadmills, so that way they can just keep running. I thought that was hilarious.
Genius.
I hadn't heard
It's
that
genius, right? Yeah.
Right?
But
When the power doesn't go out.
So, Carlo, it seems like you are like a lexicon of knowledge when it comes to movies. So,
one.
would you say that is there a movie in particular that you can think of that you would say that is casted perfectly from main supporting actor to like the supporting cast? Like, is there a movie that you can think of at the top of your head that you feel like is the perfect movie?
A perfect movie is very subjective, obviously, and maybe I can think of a lot of films that fit that. But I'm gonna go with one that I recently was talking about it with other fellow Twitter friends, and that's Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
Everybody in that cast is perfect. From Anthony Hopkins, everybody knows him from Hannibal Lecter. Let me just plug my laptop. Sorry. And as much popularity as Anthony Hopkins has, Jodie Foster is just superb. She's great as Clarice Starling. She's strong, but she's vulnerable. There's that strength under the surface that's so important to her character, especially towards the end, as you see her grow and pretty much solve the case through her vulnerability. Scott Glenn as her boss, it's perfect. The guy that plays Dr. Chilton, Anthony Hild, she's excellent. He's excellent. Everybody in that cast is excellent. It's one of my favorite films, and I think everybody was cast perfectly.
My God, you know your stuff. This is just amazing to
Right?
listen to.
You're naming all these
Oh
actors.
my
It's
God!
fantastic.
I gotta go to IMDb. I'm like, what's the name?
You're like the guy's name.
I'm like, what's
I
the name
have
of
a
the
thing
movie?
that I can identify like actors. I have like and everybody tells me, this actor, yeah, he was in that. Well,
Yeah.
it's
It's like,
kind
yeah,
of
you got
a thing.
Memory.
you got an eidetic memory. I'm like, my goodness, Carlo, that's amazing.
Not that much, but I try.
When it comes to movies, at least, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Tao? It was on Netflix about the smart house who is trying to people have to like solve things in order to get out of it.
What's the name again?
Tao, Tau.
No, I haven't seen it.
So good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna add it to my watch list then.
How big is the watch list, dude? You have like 50 movies on there.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of Letterboxd. It's a very popular site where people log the films they're watching and they write reviews and stuff like that. And you can keep a watch list, films that people recommend you, and you can add them there. It's mine is around 400 films probably. But I know people that have a very, very bigger watch list.
Yeah.
Every time somebody tells me you gotta watch this film, okay, I dump them, dump it there, and maybe one day I'll get to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I'll add it. I'll add it. Tau.
TAU. Yeah. Do you did you like going to the movies in the theater, or are you perfectly happy just watching them at home?
When I was younger, I used to go to the movies probably once a week. As I grew older, I kind of stopped going that much because I have issues with how certain people behave at the movies.
Hmm.
Cell phone people, people that tend to talk too much at the movies, and I kind of got more comfortable watching them at home. There was a stretch of like I think 5 years where I didn't go to the movies at
Wow.
all. So I just watched whatever I wanted at home. But then I started going again, and usually I go now for big blockbuster spectacle films like the Star Wars films or Avengers, Infinity War, or Endgame. Those actually
Mhm.
have been the last ones I've seen. And actually, with my kids, I'm taking them to the movies now, so that's another reason that I can go to.
That's so
Okay.
nice.
All right, Carlo, we're gonna keep it fun over here, okay? So you just got a 1 billion Spotify deal, okay, with your podcast with Thieves Monthly Movie Loot.
Wow.
Spotify was just like, let's just say you got $1 billion on a record deal, okay? So
Okay.
if you can assemble your perfect movie cast, you get to choose a director. It seems like you know a bunch of actors and
Right.
actresses.
Yeah.
Who would you cast and why?
That is a
Uh,
fun question,
Live or
John.
dead?
Oh,
Live or dead?
Anybody you want. Anybody you want. Money is no question. It doesn't matter if they're alive
yeah,
or
we'll
dead.
bring him back to the dead. From
Yeah,
the
well, you got $1 billion. We can make it happen.
We got the dead. What's the name of the podcast?
The
Dumbfounded.
dumbfound dead, yes.
Okay, we got the dumbfounded guy here. He can pretty much bring them back.
That's true. Then I can
That's
make
Um,
fun
a
of them
superpower.
again.
He's so dumb he died
uh,
twice.
director. My favorite director is Stanley Kubrick, so I will probably bring him back from the dead to direct direct that billion-dollar film. Um, Cast. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep bringing people back from the dead, but Philip
You're
Seymour
fine.
Hoffman. Philip Seymour
Yeah.
Hoffman was great. Was an
Oh
excellent
gosh,
actor.
yeah.
Marlon Brando,
Okay.
a young Marlon Brando. Uh, and let's say Kate Blanchett. Kate Blanchett would be my lead actress. And my supporting cast: Ed Harris and David Morse. That's gonna be my movie.
And what would this movie be about?
Let's say a sci-fi thriller about a serial killer that travels through time. There you
Ooh.
Ooh.
go.
Is it gonna be a
Cool.
classic Stanley and it's gonna be in the hotel?
No. We gotta take him out of the hotel. We gotta do
Okay.
something more
Like a
more
twist at the
citywide.
end.
Somewhere in Puerto Rico, maybe?
Maybe he can
Maybe,
come
yeah.
here, and I don't know who he can kill here, but
The person that didn't introduce Mofongo to Brie, maybe.
Oh my
oh
lord,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's a good target.
Nicole, calling you out.
Hi,
I
Nicole.
wrote it down. Hi, Nicole. Yeah,
Hey
Philip
Nicole.
Seymour Hoffman, he's so good. I enjoyed him when he
Yeah.
was in God, what was that movie? It was with he played the funny guy and they were wedding. Oh my god.
Along Came Polly.
Yes, when he fell on that dance floor, I rewound it so many times. I just cried. So-
That's that's the one where he I don't know we can say that,
like a
okay, but
failed actor.
yeah, but Philip Seymour Hoffman is an actor, was an actor that uh, it doesn't matter what film it was, what role he took, because he did comedies, he did stupid comedies, he did
Mhm.
drama, he was a lead actor, he was a supporting actor, he did sci-fi, he played a villain in Mission Impossible 3, which actually I rewatched this week, and he was
Oh, wow.
great in it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what film he did, what role he was, small, big, lead, supporting, and he always batted out of the park. He was a great actor, and yeah, I mean, it was so sad to see him go. That I don't
Yeah.
think there's been another actor like him recently.
Yeah, it was a big loss in the movie industry. We really liked him.
Yeah.
So you're a Tom Cruise fan?
I like Tom Cruise. Yeah, he's good. I like a lot of his films. He's the kind of actor that I think uh, w- was dismissed a lot by his looks, kind of like Brad Pitt. Uh, they actually started pretty much at the same time, and I think people, at least in the '90s, dismissed them like they're pretty boys and whatnot. But I think they both have proved themselves to be good actors, and one thing that I was talking with an online friend about the Mission Impossible films is how invested he is into that franchise. I mean, uh, I'm sure you've all heard about the crazy stunts he pulls and how he climbed the Burj Khalifa or he hung outside of a plane for the stunts of the films. You haven't heard that?
Oh man, I knew that he did some of his own stunts. I didn't
The guy
realize
is
the
crazy. I
extent of
mean,
it.
the guy in Mission Impossible 4, he hung out of the Burj Khalifa for to film a lot of scenes where he has to climb from the outside
Ooh.
of the building, and the next one he hung from outside of a plane while the plane was taking off. Uh,
Oh my
some crazy
gosh.
stunts that he's pulling, and he really gives it all. The guy I was talking with was saying that he was seeing a making of video or making of feature from one of the Mission Impossible films, and he was impressed by how invested he was. That he was the first one to get to the set, that he was the last one to leave, that he was giving
Wow.
pep talks to the cast and the crew and all that kind of stuff. So I like him. I really like his most of his films, and I think he
Wow.
usually delivers.
I usually just write him off because he's just not my favorite actor for some reason, except for like in Jack Reacher. I really enjoyed that series.
That's
I
one I
just
haven't seen. I haven't seen them. No.
I
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I just like his cameo in Tropic Thunder. When he was
Oh,
the when he was jumping crazy in the couch, yeah, I thought it was the best. There you go. Carlo got it down.
it's
So,
Les Grossman is the character. Yeah.
Yes.
He even
wow.
the character was so popular that he even guessed in some award show or something.
Oh
They made a
wow.
dance. He guessed and made a dance. I think it was with J Lo actually.
Oh
He made a
wow.
Oh my
dance like
gosh.
with the same dance that he makes at the
Yeah.
end of the film. He made that thing, and people were crazy about it.
That's
It's a
awesome.
crazy cameo.
Man, I should
For
not write him off.
Brie, I don't know if you've seen that, but the cameo,
Mhm.
he's bald. He has a fat suit.
But yeah,
He
he has
has
a big
the
Yeah,
belly.
it's been so
hairy
long. Yeah.
arms, and he looks nothing like Tom Cruise. He's
Yeah,
very loud. He's foul
when you saw the
mouth.
credits, we were just like, "What? That was Tom Cruise?" That was my first reaction.
Yeah, yeah, he's great. He's great. Have you seen Collateral, Brie?
I have. Gosh, it's been a while because I would rot him off and I would not watch Tom Cruise movies because Tom Cruise is in it. And also the guy that was in Braveheart. See, I don't
Mel
even
Mel
remember.
Gibson.
Gibson.
Yeah,
Mel
that
Gibson.
guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I know it's terrible, but if you're have I seen Collateral? I don't know. I think it's been a long time since I've actually seen it.
He's a hitman. It's with Jamie Foxx, and
Oh, does it play a bad guy? Like a different character
yeah,
than he usually.
yeah. It's one of the
Oh,
one of the few films that he plays a bad guy. He's a hitman, and he kidnaps this taxi driver. It's Jamie Foxx to take him from to the different places that he has to kill someone. You have to drive me here, drive me here, drive me here, and forces him to wait for him. And the guy obviously gets involved and tries to save the people that he's trying to kill. It's a pretty good film.
wow. I liked
That's
him.
another actor with range. Jamie
Ooh,
Foxx. Oh, he's
yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
amazing.
yeah,
I love Jamie Foxx. I can't wait what he does with the Tyson film that he's supposed to be doing.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's I heard he was cast. Yeah,
He's amazing. You can put
yeah.
him
He's
on
a great actor.
any role and
Diverse
he'll excel
actor.
at it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great actor, great actor.
I liked Minority Report. That was like one of the first Tom Cruise movies. I'm sorry, John. What was
No,
that?
I'm
Were you
agreeing.
were you not agreeing with?
No, I said Minority Report is good. I like Minority Report.
It's
Okay.
good. It's a good film. It's a good film.
Yes, it is.
What Are the Worlds? Also from Steven Spielberg.
Oh, War of the World. Yeah, I don't know that movie. When they stuck those people up there, and it just traumatized me. Like it was hard to watch.
No, but it's a good film, and he has a moment where he's running with his family trying to escape from these aliens and whatnot, and there's a scene where they walk inside a diner, and he's tired, and they just like escape from a mob or something, and he just breaks down crying, and it's one of those scenes where you can actually see, this guy is a good actor. He breaks down crying because he feels like he can protect his family, and he's desperate, and he's just trying to uh, make ends meet, and it's a pretty good scene. You
Aw.
shouldn't dismiss him. He's a good actor.
All right, Carlo, I have another question for you.
This is so fast now, I guess.
I got one question for you, Carlo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking about Tom Cruise. This guy is like probably the king of like sequels, right? Is there a particular movie that only had one that you feel that deserves a sequel, maybe?
That only had one sequel.
No, I mean that only had like if there was a standalone movie that you can think of that you think deserves a sequel.
Hmm.
Because I know sequels don't really get a good reputation.
Yeah, but there are always great sequels. But that's one of those questions that I'm sure there are maybe 100 possible answers. But
Mhm.
the first one that came to mind, I'm gonna go a bit left field, but The Rocketeer. I don't know if you've seen it.
The Rocketeer. I have not
It's a
seen
film
I
it.
think
from the
I've seen that.
90s.
It's on
It's based on a
Netflix.
comic book. It's pretty
Okay.
good. It's an adventure film, like based on a comic book, kind of superhero film about a guy that finds
Oh
a
yeah.
jetpack.
Uh-huh.
It's set in the 40s or 50s, I think, 40s because the Nazis are involved. And I thought the film was a lot of fun, but it didn't make. I think it didn't make enough money, and they didn't go through with a sequel. I'm sure there were plans to make a sequel, but they didn't follow through with them. Um,
Mm.
but I think it deserved a sequel. It was well acted. It was a lot of fun, and it has the bad guy. I mean, the bad guy died, whatever. But it was Timothy Dalton. He was James Bond in the '90s, and he was the bad
Ooh.
guy. And he was pretty good.
I like the bad the bad guys like in Superman and Star Trek, like Wrath of Khan, man. I it's hard to play the bad guy and like have everyone hate you, but if you do it right, it's just golden.
Oh no!
Love it.
The bad guy roles are the most flashy, or the most that people remember.
Yep.
Everybody
Yeah.
remembers like Darth Vader, Hannibal
Mhm.
Lecter, or
Yeah.
uh, the Joker. Everybody remembers them.
He's so good. Right? Thank you. I agree. Yeah, I like Khan, Wrath of Khan. I like
Like what?
like the Wrath of Khan in Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
So
That's the second
good.
one.
So good.
That's a blind spot. I haven't seen a single Star Trek film. Only the recent ones. The
Oh,
three new
okay.
ones. Those are, but the old ones I haven't seen a single one.
Like the whole series?
No, I haven't seen anything. Not the
Oh.
series, not the classic films. I haven't seen anything about Star Trek. I don't. Just like I said,
Wow.
just the three recent ones. The
Yeah.
the the new ones.
Do you watch any like shows in different series of episode shows on
Yeah.
Netflix or just movies?
No. I try to I try to pace myself and like watch movies and shows. Like one day I watch a movie, another day I watch a TV show, and try to uh, keep them. Uh, try to organize myself to keep the schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a lot of great shows out there. So I don't know what you're watching or what you like, but I'm catching up with Community. That's an old sitcom.
Everyone's favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on season 2, and I kept catching up with that. Recent shows or new ones. I'm watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier right now. That's on
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
Plus.
I
Disney
saw the
Plus, yeah.
first episode.
I finished Fargo season 4. It finished like about a month ago on Hulu. It's probably the my favorite current show. If you've seen the film and you like Fargo, the film, you probably
Mhm.
will like the series. It's great. Um, Ozark, Better Call Saul. Those are more or less what I'm watching.
Okay.
WandaVision, which just finished a while
Uh,
ago.
It's a lot of
yeah.
different genres, so you really diversify for topics.
Yeah, I try not
Caroline, we love
to. Hey,
you.
Caroline. Yeah, I try. I don't like to limit myself, and I try to watch. I like everything. I mean, films
Right.
is the same. I can watch horror. I can watch a musical. I can watch foreign films. I can watch action, comedy. I mean, there's a time for everything.
That's true.
Yeah, I think so too. I like watching thrillers and post-apocalyptic things and sometimes zombie movies, but like I don't, do you have to be in the mood to watch a movie or you just like get into it?
Uh, I used to think that I used to like think, okay, I have to be like you said in a specific mood to watch a film, but with this challenge that I put myself, it kind of challenges me to, if I have to watch a film from certain country, well, I don't know what it's going to be. I have to settle with what I have available. For example, I had to watch this month. I had a challenge to watch a film from Greece. So I started looking. Okay, let's see
Yeah.
what's available on the streaming services that I have, and I found one that's called Dogtooth on Movie on a streaming service that's called Movie, and I watched it. I don't know if I was in the mood, but it was good,
Yeah.
disturbing, unsettling,
Oh my
but good.
gosh. Scary.
So I like to think that I can adjust myself, but not everybody can do that. And sometimes I'm in the mood for a certain type of film, so whatever I'll put what I'm in the mood for. So it depends. Caroline says, "What about musicals, Carlos?"
Yeah.
uh, Musicals I like. I it wasn't a genre that I really got into until recently, until let's say 10, 20 years maybe. Um, but there are a lot of good ones. For example, Moulin Rouge. I love Moulin Rouge.
Which is good.
Once, I don't know if you heard Once. It's from Ireland.
Love Ones is so
That's
good.
that's
Cried.
a great film and a great soundtrack.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
yeah.
so there are some classic ones like An American in Paris. So there are a lot of great musicals. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
sing, Caroline. Sorry.
That was gonna be my
Boo.
follow up question. I'm like, dang it, beat me
Oh.
to it.
I watched The Stranded on Netflix where this like kids are trapped on an island from a tsunami and I went through the 100 and the rain and have you heard of them?
The 100, I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. I think that's the. Is it from the guys from Lost, or is it that it's kind of in the same vibe?
Yeah, it's kind of in the same one where they get 100 kids from space get put on Earth and they have to survive. And it was like a red zone where, oh my gosh, I can't think tonight. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was toxic and they had to try to like survive on this island, on this planet again. And they run
Okay,
into
okay,
people that already live there.
okay.
American in Paris.
There you go.
Look at that.
Yeah, you have another Once fan.
It's so good. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. My husband worked in the theater for 16 years and he grew up in it as well. So at first I wasn't really a big fan of musicals, and when we would have to go on long car rides to visit his family in South Carolina, like 6 hours, he would put on musicals and I'd be like, what the hell is this? But I started getting used to them, like 1776 and Les Mis, and recently Hamilton. So I started appreciating it, and then it started to enjoy it because there's a lot of work that goes into it and a lot of talent. So I appreciate musicals more now than ever.
I don't like to say that they're not for everybody, because I think that every film can be for everybody, but you have to get used to it. You have to get used to people breaking out in song and
Yeah.
singing in the middle of a gang fight or
Right.
or whatever, right? Singing in the middle of Congress. I saw one last year, I think, that's called one. I'm a Spanish native speaker, so I have issues with numbers in English. It's 1776. It's
Yeah,
about
1776. Mhm.
yeah, and it's the foundation of the United States, and you get people breaking out in song in the middle of Congress and whatnot. It's a lot of fun, but you have to get used to that kind of thing. Not everybody can tolerate it at first.
We went to see The Greatest Showman in theaters, and I had no idea what it was about. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll see it, whatever. Nothing else is here. And they started singing, and I started laughing out loud. I was like, is this a joke? And they just sang throughout the whole movie. And I was like, oh my God, I was not prepared for this. But it ended up like,
I was just waiting for Hugh Jackman to turn Logan like mid-movie and just start messing everything up, and it never happened. I was like, oh, but it was still a great movie though.
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
I'll
pretty
check
cool
it out one day.
if you realize it was a musical and just some random movie. Oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed doing. Yeah, just laughing in the theater.
When you don't expect it to be a musical and you just like, okay, what's going on here, or when it's a genre that you're not used to, or you don't expect it to be, because musicals are typically associated with drama or historical epics or maybe romance. But for example, there was a film I saw a while ago that's called Anna and the Apocalypse. It's a zombie film.
It. Yeah,
it's a zombie film, but it's a zombie musical film. Maybe you like it. It's not great.
Anna and the Apocalypse?
Yeah, Anna and the Apocalypse.
Oh,
I'm not gonna oversell it because it's not great, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see, people sing in the middle of this zombie apocalypse and singing while zombies are eating them or stuff like that. So it's worth a watch just for that. But it's very
so bad it's
not
good.
it's not very out there. I mean, it's very teen oriented. I think it might be maybe even PG-13. I'm not sure, but the lead cast is teenagers from a school, and they find themselves trapped in the school, and the survivor group, they want to get to their family and get to safety, and well, they have to fend off the zombies all around, and it's a lot of fun. But again, you have to get used to them breaking in song while running from zombies.
That is treadmill. Just put the zombies in a treadmill.
I'm gonna ride that.
I'm not gonna use it for myself, but I'll just have them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so genius. Or trampolines, maybe.
That's another one too. Yeah. Or just put a bunch of your kids' Legos all over.
Well, you have to make them jump first, because how they're gonna get on the Legos? So it's good. Yeah, that's a good one.
But fast running zombies, they freak me out. 28 days later, they're all they're corpses and they don't have any muscle, so they shouldn't be able to run. They should just be able to kind of walk,
But that's the beauty of film. It could be anything.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning from Carlo already.
I know. I want to hear
But
more about this film, Carlo, because that you're writing, that you should be writing. That's cool.
now that you mention it, have you seen 28 Weeks Later?
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't
The
seen that
opening
one.
of that film, that's crazy. The
Oof.
opening when they get to the guy in the cabin where they're hiding, that opening is one of the best openings I've seen on any film. So
Yeah.
it's a great one.
Those are intense movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are
I like zombie films. Actually,
Oh,
my number 3 horror film is Night of the Living Dead, the classic one from
mm.
1968. That's one of my favorite horror films.
And
But those are
the
the slow ones, not the fast ones.
we like the slow ones.
it's
Yeah.
all
And the
it's all
Dawn of the
it's all the
Dead.
food that they're eating now. It's all the preservatives on the food. So yeah, they're leveled up a little bit.
Ooh. How did you like like the Shaun of the Dead movies?
Oh,
Did
that's
you,
great. It's
yeah,
a great,
Love
great,
Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
comedy,
perfect
zombie.
mixture of comedy and horror. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's perfect.
He's such a
Zombieland was
great
amazing
actor.
too. That Bill Murray
I haven't
cameo.
seen the
Oh
second
my
one.
god.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the first
No,
one.
I haven't seen the
Oh,
second one either,
I
but the
haven't either
first one
yet.
was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Bill
So you
Murray
have to
just
remember the first
cracked me
rule.
up.
Now you mentioned the treadmills. First rule, cardio.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
Cardio.
So use
So
a
maybe
treadmill first before you set it up.
okay. Maybe you can keep
Make
one
sure
for
it
yourself,
works.
so you
Oh,
can do
there
the
you go.
cardio in case they escape from the treadmills.
They're just gonna catch me because I ain't running.
Yeah, I'm giving myself up too. I'm just like, it's not even worth it.
I don't like running. I'd rather just get.
I can't get drive through anywhere else anyway, so I might as well be the buffet for somebody, but whatever.
I was gonna say we're like the dessert or like the appetizer. I don't know
Buffet.
about zombies eat. There's ice cream at the end of buffet, isn't there? Oh my gosh. I don't know.
I'm trying to keep it clean here, all right, Bree?
He's trying his best.
I'm trying my best.
So recently I saw that you did a collaboration with Defining Disney and you do like a top 5. You want to talk more about that? Like, is it your of each movie, each episode? Is there like a top 5 something?
Yeah. Starting this year, I changed the format of the podcast a bit, and every month I'm releasing an episode where I invite a guest, and we talk about certain topics. And at the end of the podcast, we share top 5 of whatever we're discussing. For example, on January, I had a Twitter friend, a friend that I've known for 3 or 4 years through the internet, and we talked about debut films. And at the end of the podcast, we traded our top 5 debut films. In February, I had a stand-up comedian, Steve Mason. Actually, he was an inspiration for me to start a podcast because his podcast was the first podcast I really got into, and
Wow.
I had the
Awesome.
honor of having him as a guest. And we talk about comedies in general, and at the end we close with our top 5 comedies. And last month, I had the girls from Defining Disney, Nicole and Caroline, and we talked about Disney in general because we were watching Raya. We saw Raya and the Last Dragon, the new
So
Disney film,
good.
and at the end of the day, we traded our top 5 Disney animated movies. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do now every month. I'm still releasing a regular episode at the end of the month, which is where I alone talk about the films I'm seeing. But at the every month in the middle of the month, I'm releasing an episode with a guest where I'm trying that at certain topic discussion, and then we always play a game, and then we close with our top 5 of whatever we're discussing. For example, in April, I already have Eric Anderson from Awards Watch. He's an film awards pundit, and we're going to talk about the Oscars since the Oscars are now in April, and we're going to talk about a lot of things: awards, films, his predictions, whatever we're going to talk about that.
Wow.
Sounds
That's
awesome.
fun. What made you want to change up your format a little bit?
Excuse me?
What made you want to change up your format in this new year?
Um, just trying to spice things up and trying to make things different. Maybe draw more audience. Also, since the podcast last year it was just me, I know from people that I talk to and from podcasts that I listen to that the engagement when it's two people or more people is better. It's the podcast kind of flows better. It's more, there's more rapport or more dynamic, and I wanted to get that with a guest. So that's what I'm trying to get, to invite someone, talk with someone, and chat, have fun, play games, or whatever.
That's so great. I love that idea of how you changed your format and doing like the top five. And you remind me of, well, just a little bit, like your personality and your love for movies reminds me of the guys from Sci-Fi Remnant on,
Okay.
yeah, they're so wonderful and so nice. And the way they talk about movies, they're like so passionate about it. And they just really dive deep into like the movies, like specific scenes and stuff. So I think you
I
guys
hadn't
would do
heard of
really well.
them. I hadn't heard of them, but we just connected today on Twitter. So maybe
Yay!
maybe I can look for their stuff, and then maybe we can do a collaboration later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I would love to see that. That would be so fun.
And that's
Um,
awesome too. Like a lot of people, and especially a lot of shows, they're so scared to revamp the format because they're trying to stick to, the formula that works. And for you to kind of go out of your comfort zone, just like how you watch different types of movies, that's really awesome to hear. I really love hearing that from people.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And the
and
other format I'm doing every other month. I started that in August of last year, but every other month I take a film I like, and I analyze a scene, a specific scene from that film. And for example, in August, I analyzed one scene from
When
Seven.
Harry Met Sally. Oh, yeah. Let's do
Yeah,
the
when
When
Harry
Harry
Met
Met
Sally,
Sally
I did
one.
in February.
Okay.
Yes, that
Okay.
was the last one. Those are labeled. If you browse my episodes, they are labeled as special episodes. I did when Harry Met
Yeah.
Sally. I did in December. I did Die Hard, one scene from Die Hard, and in October, I did one scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is my favorite horror film. So I tried to take
Ooh.
like in October it was Halloween, so I did my favorite horror film. In December it's Christmas, so I did my favorite Christmas film, Die Hard,
It's a Christmas film.
and
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
Christmas film. Yeah, yeah. You won't get any argument with me. And in
Sweet.
February, because of Valentine's Day, so I did When Harry Met Sally. It's my favorite rom-com.
Aw. That's
That's
my
awesome.
friend Nicole. She's the one that has to teach me about Malfungal.
The one on the
That's
hit
her
list.
favorite movie, right? Yeah, Nicole. She was like, "Here, Bree, you've never seen it. Here's the DVD," and I had it for like a year, and I've still just never watched it. So I will have to put that on my list too. That's so funny. Um,
There has to be. I don't know where you live, but there has to be a place, a Puerto Rican place around there
yeah, she's
where you
right.
can find Mofongo.
I will. I'll have to Google it. That sounds amazing. Um, I think there's no beef in it, right? But so we're coming up to a close. But what kind of did you have to invest in equipment to do podcasting, like microphones, headphones, and
Mm, not really. My wife gave me a microphone a while ago, and other than that, I really haven't invested in anything. These headphones, this headset were from work, and they gave them to me. They told me, "Hey, you can take them home," because they bought new ones for everybody. So now I use these ones for the podcast. And
nice?
no, I'm really not a lot of investment.
That's awesome. That's nice because sometimes people go overboard and like
No,
thousands of dollars
Yeah.
of stuff before you
But
even know what your
I
podcast
should
is going to be
probably
about.
soundproof the room. That's the only thing. I should probably soundproof the room.
But you got the most important ingredient, Carlo. You got the content, and you are so knowledgeable about
Thanks.
it. So
I was going to say
Thanks.
personality, but content too. Yes.
content, personality. That
The knowledge.
you can't bring up content if you have no personality, or else people are just not going to tune in. So
Yeah.
You know.
No.
We're trying.
Yeah. And and knowing all the actors, it's really nice.
I
Because
know.
my husband can do that
Jeez.
too. He can like name actors. I'm like, who's that? He's like, oh, it's the guy that played in that one movie. Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's always what's his face or what's her name for me. Like,
Or
what's his
the
face?
I
Seven
don't know
Stages from Kevin
how,
Bacon.
but they just stick with me. I don't know
The-
why. I don't know how or why, but
It's like the one with the eyes. Which one is that one?
the one with the googly eyes.
Yeah, which one
The
was
one
that
with the
one?
beard.
Yeah. That's how I name them. Um,
I don't know if you're up to it. I don't know how much time we have.
oh, sorry. like
all you, Brie?
5-10. I'm sorry. I was looking at my cat. I'm sorry. Are you playing a game? Is there a game coming on?
Uh-oh.
Well, since I usually play a game with my guests on my podcast, I was prepared. I said, maybe we can play a game if we have time. Just a short,
Yeah.
Let's
because I
play a
don't know.
game. Let's play a game.
You're going down, John. I don't know why you're excited.
Oh well, I'm probably gonna lose. I'm not that very smart when it comes to
my
movies
God,
or
you're-
smart in general.
No,
It's
you're
pretty easy,
perfect and
but
wonderful.
you just have to listen. So,
Ooh.
Bree, you tell me how much time we have, or you can cut me whenever you want. Okay.
You go.
Um,
You're good.
The game, I called it fake trivia.
Oh, I'm gonna embarrass.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna embarrass
share-
myself.
Yeah,
I'm
you
going to
are.
share bits of trivia about different films. Some of them are real, some of them are fake. And you're going to tell me which ones are real, which ones are fake.
So, do we have
Okay.
to buzz in, or are you going to call us individually?
No. Let's alternate. Bree first, and then John. Okay.
I'm gonna lose.
Uh, let's see. First one. In 2007, Bruce Willis donated one of the dirty undershirts he wore during Die Hard to the Smithsonian Museum of American History. True or false, Bree?
Ugh. True.
Yes, true.
Woo! In your face, John.
Whatever.
I mean,
He
good job.
donated it along with a copy of the script and a badge from one of the sequels for an exhibition about American history, along with Rocky's boxing gloves and the Wizard of Oz ruby slippers.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
Okay, let's go with John.
Oh god.
While preparing for the role of Ruben in Sound of Music, Sound of Music is it's the name. I didn't write the name.
No, that's right.
The new film that's running out. The film is about a drummer that starts losing his hearing. Actor Riz Ahmed couldn't learn American Sign Language, but he did learn to play the drums. True or false?
I haven't seen this, but I'm gonna go with false.
It's false because he did both. He learned to play the drums, and
Oh, get it
he
done.
learned American Sign Language.
I'm a great guesser. I mean, I only had one or the other.
Like, the other one was true, so it's got to be false.
Yeah, that's the logic that I was thinking of.
We'll see. Let's go with Brie. Nicolas Cage
I
actually
love
ate-
him.
you're gonna love
Sorry.
this one.
And don't get it
Nicolas
wrong.
Cage actually ate 2 live roaches during the filming of a scene from 1988's Vampire Kiss, which features his character gradually losing his sanity, thinking he's becoming a vampire. True or false? Did he eat 2 live roaches?
He's pretty crazy, so I'm going to go with true.
Yes, it's true.
He's
He was actually thinking about eating a live bat,
Ugh,
but they convinced him
Ozzy.
otherwise, and he did 2 roaches.
Well, we saw
That's
what happened
disgusting.
there.
Oh, man. I still like him.
Let's go with John.
Oh,
During the 3 months of filming 2018's Creed 2, actor Michael B. Jordan would wear the iconic star-spangled boxing shorts from his character's father all day and night and wouldn't take them out until filming was completed. True or false?
he's crazy enough to live with his parents, though, so I'm gonna say true.
False. That's nonsense.
Oh, dang
In your
it!
face, John.
Whatever. This is what happens when I try to be smart
You're
about
a
it.
terrible guesser.
That's true. Though.
Let's go with Brie. The film Jason Takes Manhattan, the eighth part from the Friday the 13th franchise, originally would have featured a tremendous scene on the Brooklyn Bridge, a boxing match in Madison Square Garden. Jason would go through department stores, he'd go through Times Square, he'd go into a Broadway play, he'd even crawl onto the top of the Statue of Liberty and dive off. Unfortunately, due to budget restrictions, the Manhattan scenes are limited to only the last act of the film, and none of that happens. True or false?
True.
Yes, it's true.
Oh!
That was a quote from director Rob Hedden describing his original intentions for the film, which he couldn't accomplish because of budget restrictions.
I think I lost already. I'm down 3-1.
Yeah, you did.
Let's go with John. After filming When Harry Met Sally, stars Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan dated for about a year and were actually engaged before Ryan broke up the engagement to marry Dennis Quaid.
True.
False.
Oh,
Crystal,
man.
At the time of filming, Crystal had been happily married for almost 20 years already. He still is, but Ryan did went on to marry Dennis Quaid about a year after filming When Harry Met Sally.
Dang it, I
That's
was hoping for a homewrecker story.
Let's go with the last ones, the two last ones, so we can close it. Bree, director and writer Orson Welles, who achieved fame with his debut film Citizen Kane from 1941, kept one of the iconic rosebud sleds for himself. When he died of a heart attack in 1985 at the age of 70, he was holding the sled in his hands. True or false?
False.
False. Apparently, there were, I don't know if you've seen the film, but there were 3 sleds made for the film, 2 of which were burned in the final scene. The third one, the one that they didn't burn, it's owned by Steven Spielberg.
I'm hanging up now.
Yeah, you lost real bad,
I lost
John.
big time. I don't watch
The last one, John. And this is for the Defining Disney girls if they're listening. In the original story for Disney's Frozen, Elsa was, quote, evil from the start, kidnapping Anna from her wedding to intentionally freeze her heart and later descending upon the town with an army of snowmen. However, the composition of the song Let It Go forced the writers to reimagine the character into a more complex and sympathetic character. True or false?
Let's go with true.
Yes, it's true.
Oh, I heard that was for
was
10 points.
The character is the villain in the original story, but in an interview with the Daily Telegraph, the songwriters said they saw Elsa as a scared girl struggling to control and come to terms with her gift and try to imagine what it was like to be her, to develop that empathy.
Wow.
Aww,
I heard last point.
There you go.
Is-
Is it just one that you got, John?
No, I got 2 right, okay?
Oh, you did. I have like 13 questions. Got it. Sorry.
Whatever. C's gets degrees.
You know, you tried. That's all that matters.
I wasn't brought here for
like
my intellect.
Points doesn't matter. This is like, whose line is it anyway? I wasn't scoring anyway.
Yeah. My questions were funner because it was Frozen.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Wow. And do you have kids, John? How do you know? You watch Frozen all the time, or?
Yeah. What's wrong with Frozen?
I just
love
ask good
Frozen.
questions. Who doesn't?
I love Frozen. That's one of my
That's
favorites.
nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Let it go, Brie.
You let it go. Into the unknown is where we're gonna let it go. Carlo, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it. I'm so glad that we found you on the
Thanks for
internet.
having
You're
me.
very absolutely. You're very interactive, and like that's how we found you. That's how I originally found Chris Revel and the Dumbfounded guys and like Sci-Fi Remnant and all these fun Finding Disney too, who actually got to meet Caroline this past weekend.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because she lives an hour away from me right now. So she was so kind enough to drive up and hang out with me for a little bit. So it was beautiful.
You're part
All
of the
just
Ohana.
online. Yeah, I am Ohana.
Yeah.
Call me Moana. Oh my God, that rhymed. So John, Carlo, where can we find you on the internet?
My Twitter account, my personal Twitter account is ThiefCGT, ThiefCGT. The podcast Twitter account is TMML2021. That's Thief's Monthly Movie Loot 2021. That's the main place to find me. I spend more time than it's sane on Twitter. Um, the
It's okay, we
podcast
all do.
website, the website is available on Spotify and Google Podcasts and on Podchaser. But the website for the podcast is tmml.buzzsprout.com. So you can find it there, but probably Spotify or Google Podcasts is the easier way to dive into the podcast. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. The podcast is on Instagram and Facebook, but I don't spend as much time there as I spend on Twitter. But you
Yeah,
can probably look for it there.
beautiful. And John, where can we find you and Patrick?
Well, you can bug Patrick at Instagram. Our Instagram handle is the Dumbfounded Pod, or you can talk to me, the most wonderful person out there, at TDFD Pod on Twitter. We're also on Facebook. We also have a little private Facebook group, so hit me up for that. But if you want to make things easier, you can find us on our website. We're at thedumbfoundedpod.com.
Yes.
I'm intrigued by the premise of the show. I'm gonna check it out.
It's very have
topic
fun. Have fun with that.
I see it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew it was you guys. I just read the heading. It's like, what is he up to? Yes, again, we are Let's Chat Live. I am Bree, and this is John, and we had the wonderful Carlo from the Thieves movie, monthly movie loot, and you can check us out at letschatpodcast.net or on Twitter at Let's Chat Live and connect with us. And we'd love to hang out with you guys or have you on the show. Everyone, have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.